Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage, on a beautiful Friday afternoon, winding down my day. And the FedEx guy showed up with my Holley Manifold top, which appears to be in perfect shape. One little scratch right there under the throttle body, you'll never see it. I found it on eBay, private sale, half price. So, last Sunday I was able to get this LS7 high ram bottom for $500. That's about, almost call it $400 off retail. It was complete, minus the top, and now just a little bit internet shopping, netted the top, which showed up today in perfect shape. So that part of this week has gone pretty well. I stuck the rails on it. When the guy showed up the manifold, it was out of the box. He told me he had glued the O-ring on and the port O-rings on, and I could see they were in place. And there was a bag of hardware, not this bag, it wasn't even that nice. It was the original bag that was torn and taped back up. So I didn't know if I had all the hardware, but when I came back last Sunday, I laid it all out and I have everything, including the plugs for the back, which I won't use because they're steel. I'll use anodized aluminum plugs because I don't want them to look terrible on the manifold. I see they've made some changes to the Holley manifold. The ports are now in the back instead of underneath. Underneath was never a good idea. I like that the manifold has tapped different sets of holes to move the rails up and down for different length injectors. So if I had the injectors today, I would be putting the manifold on for real, but I don't. So I had some thoughts about this engine from here forward, and I figured I would work and talk and hit some highlights real quick because it's fun sometimes. So I like that the Holley manifold comes with studs for the cylinder heads. Now I'm sure if I'd gone online under this part number manifold at the very bottom of the Holley page, there's no doubt an instruction sheet that would tell me everything I needed to know. For instance, the stud has short threads and long threads. Well, it didn't take too long to figure out that I believe the long part of the stud needs to go up. When I install these for real, I noticed it's been a year since I put the engine together. If you'd asked me this last November, I could tell you right off the top of my head, but the intake manifold bolts go down into the abyss. I believe they go right into the combustion chamber or the coolant passage, one or the other. Either way, they're deep and they go somewhere, so I will put Teflon sealer on them when I put them on for real. But for now, we're just threading them in. I was just trying them on. That's how I figured out what I believe to be correct, where the large part of the thread needs to stick up. So, no big deal. I still have paper towels stuck in every intake port. I've had the manifold set on there once. Another thing I learned, if you can see me when you go to take it off, you need to get your arm right underneath. I'll do it this way just to prove the same thing. And work the manifold up off the studs because she's pretty tight. In a perfect world, it would just drop right on there. It's not bad, you're not forcing it. There's no metal shavings coming off, but it's tight. And that's okay because hopefully it doesn't have to come off and on very often. So the previous owner of the manifold bottom said that he stuck the O-rings on, and I could see he probably used clear RTV. And I've cleaned any extra that was in the threaded bolt holes, and there's still a bit holding the O-ring on. I've got most of any extra off and got it out of the manifold. RTV or silicone dissolves with gasoline. So I watch a lot of YouTube channels, and anytime anybody's near a carburetor or an intake manifold and they're gonna put silicone, especially on a carburetor, it's not gonna last very long if it works at all. In this case, The manifold top is up here. There's nothing but air. Injectors are way down here. Yes, the lower O-rings will see gasoline, but if that little bit of silicone holding the O-ring on dissolves, probably the Holley instructions even tell you this is not a continuous O-ring. I believe there's a break in it somewhere. Right there. And they probably tell you to put a little bit of RTV on it. Whatever. So the top itself is correct. I haven't actually tried it on yet. This is live, but the older versions of the high ram, the bolts that hold the top on went up through, and that was a pain. Who thought of that? Now they go down through. I'm toying with the idea. This is where I'm tossing ideas out. It's going to be twin turbo, my 440 LS dot blocked engine that I did all kinds of videos on a year ago. LS7 head, giant dot heads. There's no reason that engine, and people have emailed me and testified to the fact that they're personally making over 2,000 horsepower with a similar combination. I don't want to do that. 12 to 1400 is more than enough to do what I want to do. If I ever change my mind, I could, but reality is I'm streeting it more than not, and that's the plan anyway. I went 750s in the quarter mile, 180 miles an hour with 1,450 horsepower in a 2,700 pound car. I don't even think I want to go that fast. If I change my mind, I will, but if I could even dip into the 7s, that'd be more than enough. Anywhere in the 8s would make me happy. That's still plenty fast for what I'm going to do, because I really don't know how much I'm even going to go to the track. There's no real class that I'm going to run. I think I'd like to do some drag and drive stuff, but the class that my car would fit into, if you're not running mid-6s, you're just an also-ran. The only way you're going to win, if that's your goal, is the other cars are going to break. So I guess you could, you know, be the most reliable and, you know, back your way into a victory, but that's just being realistic. If that was my goal, you know, to absolutely be the baddest car in a certain class, then I have to readdress things. I'm not sure my budget allows for that. If you watch my channel at all, I'm okay with lightly used, heavily used parts. I don't mind. I'll buy new when I have to, but anyway, moving on. So, my point. Holy crap, I missed my point. Sorry about that. I try to keep this kid friendly. Recently, my son's classroom is watching my videos in class, so I gotta make sure I try not to cuss. So, intercooler. My turbos are gonna be in the grill radiator area, one on each side. Easiest way is to plumb those, the outlet of those, into an air-to-air intercooler in front of the radiator, and then run to the throttle body on the front of the manifold. That's always been the plan. I was going to run this style intake with the same throttle body I'm putting on here, bolted right here. So it would end up back here. It actually probably makes the charge pipe a little easier to make. Either way, now that I have the Holley high ram, it opens up the possibility for a air to water cooler that would bolt in between the halves. It would jack this up a couple inches or more. They make different thickness ones. I have plenty of hood clearance, I believe. I ultimately will run a flat hood, if not a Sunoco style or a small cowl induction, but I believe the flat hood's gonna work, even with this, even with a brick underneath. And then you would have a water tank, you'd put ice in the trunk, and a pump, and you have to pump it back and forth. It's probably more efficient than the air-to-air, but you have to fill it and maintain it, and it could potentially freeze up or leak. I have seen instances where debris comes in here, and it's got a grid like a radiator, and it springs a leak and, you know, fills the engine full of water. It's pretty rare, but it's a possibility. Something that's not going to happen with air-to-air. So, anyway, I'll continue to dream on that. today. And no joke, I haven't tried this on. I haven't really even wiped it out. I should probably look at it. Nope, she's clean. And I'm fussy. Got a satisfying thud. Yep, so I grabbed one of the bolts that hold the top on, and I haven't checked the actual thread, but everything else, well, an LS engine, everything's metric, 100%. My dot blocked LS, I got half and half, and I think this manifold, I'm gonna find those are probably just 1/4 inch. I almost want to go check. Hang on. Yes, they are 1/4 inch coarse thread, which explains why the head is 1/4 inch 12 point. Now, in searching for a way to tighten these, I realized, and it's hard to believe, I've been buying tools since I was a teenager. I don't seem to have a 1/4 inch 12 point socket. At first, I was kind of upset, and then I realized, opportunity to buy more tools. No reason to be sad. So the engine itself, again, my goal, 12 to 1400 horsepower. I initially was going to build a stock block engine, 6 liters or smaller, or 6.2. I have a 6.2 aluminum block. So when I was building the 6 liter for the Nova project that I regrettably sold, but something had to give, and I'm glad I replaced it with the Race 55. It's more what I wanted, and definitely cool. I had twin BorgWarner S366 turbos, straight from BorgWarner. Right out of the box, they're not race modified, there's nothing special about them, but reading all the online turbo forums, they claim that's 1,500 horsepower worth of turbo. My wastegates that I just got are twin 40 millimeter, which should be sufficient. I prefer if maybe they were a little bigger, but time will tell whether it's an issue or not. I'm not sure, probably if I was to step up the turbo size to maybe twin 76 millimeter, I'm not sure. So I'm looking for input. If you happen to be an expert in the subject, I don't even know if I'm still in the picture here, but I'm going to continue to thread bolts in. You know what, I just turn it around. I wouldn't want you to miss looking at my beautiful face. Sidebar on that, again, the internet continues to be a pretty decent experience. You know, when I started this channel, who knows? I mean, you know how the internet warriors are that sit at home, you know, stereotypically in their mother's basement while she's fixing them a snack. They're online criticizing people. And I lost track of the years now, 4 or 5 years of being on YouTube. I think I got 3 or 4 people that have been rude. And it's just dumb stuff. Just as recently as this week, a guy said I talk too slow, basically. So sometimes people complain I talk too fast. I sound funny. If that's as bad as it gets, I'm gonna be all right. And we're back again. I just had to tap with a 1/4 tap 7 of the 8 side holes. From all the pictures I've seen, I have no reason not to believe this isn't the factory Holley hardware. It's all Holley. Must have been a shift break over in China when they made the manifold, and they didn't tap the holes deep enough. So I blew all the dirt off it again, skipping the metal, and I guess we're ready to try setting it back on the motor. You'll see it goes on a little dry. Sorry if my back is turned to you, but what's the best way? This way. It's not super heavy, but it's not light. that's kind of attractive, I guess, in an odd sort of way. Now my next dilemma is somewhere in this shop, I think I have a black 102 millimeter throttle body, but my initial search, tons of brackets and gaskets and stuff, only nets 102 millimeter silver. These are super inexpensive. The font and everything is the same as you're going if you buy a Holley one and a lot of other manufacturers. I have a new throttle position and idle air control motor. Traditionally, with a cable, you'd mount it the correct way so you can read the nomenclature, but it's an option. Flip it around, and then you can pull on it with a piece of throttle linkage, which I think I might like better. Not from a look standpoint, but make a little arm, have a rod. But that's in the future. But I don't actually think silver. I have a whole silver and black motif going on anyway, so it's here, it's paid for. It was intended to go here, so probably what I'll choose. So to recap my questions, are my blow-off valves big enough? Are my turbos big enough? It's expensive to buy new stuff. I just as soon use what I have. Sure, I'd save it maybe for another project, but I don't know how many twin turbo race motors I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have two, well, spare parts for the one anyway. I have another block, a lesser set of heads, etc. Someday I'll make that a complete engine as well. Now I'm just rambling. So hey, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful weekend. I'll probably check back. I still gotta work on my Power Glide, and it's taking up space on the bench, so I got distracted by this little project, but that's okay. It made my day. Take her easy. Wait, there's more. Don't forget, tonight, Friday, 11/14, I believe, at 4:29 p.m., which is like an hour from now, the Super Beaver Moon. So tonight, as long as it's not cloudy, should be spectacular. I like all things in the night sky. I like to walk out in the middle of the night and everything's bright. So take her easy.